Hello, everyone, and welcome to Clyde Plays News. My name is Clyde, and this is my news channel. We've got our top story tonight, which is about a bunch of balance changes affecting some ships that possibly you know and love. That's right, it's Buffs and Nerfs, people. I've been meaning to write a Buffs and Nerfs theme song. That'd be kind of fun, like those old David Letterman theme songs from the 90s. But I don't have one, so we're going to go on. First, though, we're going to talk about some changes to test ships. I don't often cover these, but I do think that some of these ships are pretty anticipated ships. People have been looking forward to them, especially, well, actually, maybe not especially any of these, but also we've got the American aircraft carrier split in this article. Let's take a quick look at what is happening to Francesco Ferruccio, the Tier 7 Italian cruiser that is coming. We're having a main battery reload time increase, that is a nerf, from 9.5 all the way up to 12 seconds. That is 2.5 seconds of reload nerf that is coming at the Ferruccio. And the exhaust smoke generator is having its action time reduced from 40 seconds to 22 seconds. That is not a minor adjustment. 18 seconds of the 40 seconds is going away. Next up, Italian cruiser Michealangelo. People are just calling this one Mike. For fun, it seems like it's having an increase, a nerf to its secondary reload times from 3.5 seconds to 4.2 seconds for the 90mm guns, and the 152s are going from 8 to 9.6 seconds. And its hydroacoustic surge consumable parameter is having a reduced action time. It's losing 20 seconds, coming down to 100 seconds. That's not unheard of. For ships that have hydros that are not German to have a 100-second reload, or I should say action time on the hydros, although many of them still have a 2-minute action time. The range of assured acquisition of ships is also shortened. It was a 6-kilometer hydro, which is awesome. So basically it's gone from having a German hydro to having a not German hydro. It's now down to a 5-kilometer, and then the torpedo's distance was reduced a 0.5 kilometer from 4 to 3.5 as well. French battleship Picardie, which is a Tier 8 version basically of the Lyon at Tier 7. It's having its HE damage and fire chance reduced. We're seeing a 550 hit point damage reduction on its HE shells. The fire chance is coming down 2%, and its AP shell damage is coming down 550 damage as well. So all in all, we're reducing the amount of damage output you're going to be able to get from the Picardie. Next up, we've got the American aircraft carrier split that's coming in hot. We've got the Independence, the Yorktown, and the Essex. We've got this changes to the stock bomber parameters. They're basically getting an increased number of hit points and a reduction in the amount of bomb damage they're going to do. And then secondarily, their researchable bombers, the upgraded bombers, are having the same treatment, increased hit points and reduced damage output as well. Additionally, the patrol fighters for the Independence are going to be upgraded as well. You're going to go from having 3 fighters to now having 5, and their radius is being increased 14%, which is not a small amount. 14% is a big difference when you're talking about the radius with respect to the area that the circle defined by that radius covers. So that's a nice upgrade to the fighters. Looking at the Yorktown, we've got researchable torpedo bombers. That's the upgraded torpedo bombers are going to have a similar treatment. So reduced torpedo damage, but no change to the hit points. And then the stock bombers, hit point increase with reduction in damage. And then the researchable bombers, the upgraded bombers, are the same thing, right? An increase in hit points, decrease in damage. So it's going to allow you to land more of those torpedoes, but as a result, they'll do a little bit more damage, or a little bit less damage, excuse me. Patrol fighters, again, similar treatment. We're going from 5 fighters up to 7, so you've got more birds in the air to keep you and your allies safe from incoming air attack, and a larger action radius for those fighters. Essex, torpedo bombers, maximum torpedo damage increased. Now this is different from what we're seeing in the other ships up above. The increase in torpedo damage rather than a decrease. And then the hit points increased on the stock bombers, the hit points increased on the researchable bombers, and then a fighter buff, just like the others, going up 2 planes from 7, in this case to 9, with a 14% action radius as well. One interesting thing about these carriers is what you're looking at here on the screen. This is the Yorktown, one of the in-test American aircraft carrier split CVs. And what we have over here are the tactical squadrons. Now, we haven't historically seen these squadrons be able to be upgraded in a ship like this. This is the first time we've seen that on a CV to my knowledge. And what we've got over here, we can take a look at these bombers. Right now, 2,890 hit points. I have them on the upgraded setting. If we switch this down to the unupgraded, the stock bombers, the hit points come down to 2,760. So interesting that we can invest credits and XP to research and upgrade tactical squadrons. That's just a new change and something we haven't seen in aircraft carriers in World Warships to date. And that's what we have for the changes to our upcoming test ships. We're going to jump over and take a look at our top story. But first, sports. Oh, no way. Just go down, man. Take a knee. You have 43 seconds. Come on. No! Oh no, that was the wrong guy. I mean, this is Hail Mary territory. Called timeout. Scotta hurt with the 41-yard catch. Woo! Now, what do we got 9 seconds and we need 4 points. There's no choice but to go for it. I mean, it has to be a long pass. We're calling in turbo. We can do this. Hey! Oh, X. Come on, son. Yes! Yes! That's the game, kids. We win. Oh, that was fantastic. Now, this is buffs and nerfs to ships that you're already familiar with. These are ships that are out, and we love it when Wargaming does this most of the time. I like that what Wargaming is doing is taking a look at the ships that are in the game, determining whether or not they're performing, and then making adjustments. I do think that some of the changes they've made in this article are perhaps not necessary, or perhaps kind of interesting. And let's just start off with those. They're at the top of the list here. Austin is getting a main battery reload time buff from 8 seconds down to 7.5. So 1.5 second reload time buff. And its main battery reload time, reload booster, reload time, main battery reload booster reload time is being buffed as well, going from 125 seconds to 120 seconds. So a 5-second buff there isn't huge, but it is a buff just the same. And remember, Austin has an unlimited number of reload boosters. It's only limited by the duration of the match or how long you live. So in this case, you're going to have potentially a chance to maybe cook off 1 extra reload booster if you're particularly good in the Austin. I like the Austin today, although it does have a reputation of being a difficult ship to play, and as a result, some players think it is a weak ship. I think Austin is fantastic, and certainly it appeals it really performs, I should say, in certain scenarios and doesn't perform in others. But she's a lot of fun, and I see nothing wrong with these buffs because I think it's going to make her a little bit more fun. And I hope that that makes players reach out and give Austin a consideration, because if you like that ultralight cruiser play, she's a really fun ship. ZF-6, a dockyard ship, German destroyer with main battery reload booster as well, is also getting a bit of a buff. These buffs come in the form of a main battery reload buff 4 to 3.8 seconds, and then its rotation, its turret rotation, is being reduced a pretty healthy amount, 18 seconds to 10 seconds for a 180-degree rotation, which I think is fantastic. This boat didn't really need either of these things, at least in my personal estimation, but Wargaming crunched a bunch of numbers and they believe differently. They think the ship should perform a little bit better than it's doing, and I will not say no to buffs to a ship that I already really enjoy to play. So love the turret rotation benefit. I think that's just going to help you get those guns pointed at the right thing a little bit faster so that you can take advantage of opportunities to get damage. The rotation is going to help you use the main battery reload booster on this ship more effectively. You'll be able to find a scenario where it's good to use it, get your guns on target on faster, and actually get things shot up. Now, how much time is it really going to save you? How often is it really going to make a big difference? Probably not huge. A lot of people might refer to this as a quality of life change or just a comfort change, but I'm a big fan. And I'll take any DPM buff to ZF-6 or any of my gunboat destroyers that I can get. Tashkent 39 is getting a 7-second buff to its torpedo reload time. Tashkent 39 is actually a pretty strong ship. It doesn't feel strong. If you read about it on paper, it doesn't look strong. Take a look at my hot take video about that ship if you want to understand that. But it actually plays really, really well. And one of the things that makes it strong is the ability to just put out an incredible volume of torpedoes. And this volume has just increased by a small amount. 7-second buff. Next, what we see are a series of buffs that basically affect every ship in the Pan-Asian cruiser line from tier 5 all the way up to tier 10. Starting with Chongqing, rolling through Ramat, Shunpeng, Harbin, Zhejiang, and then finally Jinan, we've got very, very similar buffs. And all of them basically read like this. So I'm going to actually start with Jinan and we'll work our way back. Jinan is getting a reload time buff, 3.2 seconds down to 3 seconds. It's getting a main battery firing range increase of exactly 1 kilometer, 14.5 to 15.5. And its ballistics are going to have flatter arcs. These are 3 changes that do nothing but make that ship better and in ways that will matter to players. You're going to be able to shoot more often, you're going to be able to shoot farther, and you're going to be able to shoot flatter. In other words, you're going to have an easier time hitting our targets at those distances. Zhejiang, same thing, 4.8 seconds down to 4.5 seconds. The researchable firing range is going from 14 to 15 kilometers. That's a 1 kilometer buff. And then again, flatter ballistics. Here's one that's really interesting to me, the Harbin. The Harbin already had Soviet ballistics, or more Soviet ballistics than any of the other ships in this line. Harbin was the odd duck in this line. Had a 5.5 second reload, is dropping to 5.2. It's going to have a better range, 13.5 to 14.5. That's a 1 kilometer increase. And it's getting yet flatter ballistics. That's the one to watch. I'm actually curious to see what Harbin's going to look like compared to Zhejiang and compared to Shunpeng, just 1 tier below. Shunpeng, again, a 0.4 second main battery reload, a 1 kilometer range buff, and better ballistics. A Ramat, half second battery reload buff, and then a 1 kilometer range buff and better ballistics. And then check out the Chongqing. It's got a base hull main battery reload of 10.5 seconds. That's going to come down to 9.9. But when you upgrade the hull, it's going to reduce the reload time from 9.5 to 9 seconds. It's kind of unique that Chongqing, maybe not totally unique, but it's interesting that Chongqing has this baked into the hull upgrade rather than having a separate gun upgrade. But that's probably to keep this ship from having too many modules and you needing to grind too much XP to unlock the Ramat. And so they just rolled that reload change into the hull upgrade with Chongqing. I think all these ships are about to be a lot more playable, and hopefully they'll start to have some super fans out there in the community. Boys, girls, ladies and gentlemen, that is all I have for you. Thanks for watching Clyde Plays News. I hope you enjoyed this and found it entertaining. If you did and you're watching it later on YouTube, why don't you come join us for the live show? You can see, you know, all of the takes I have to take to sometimes get these right. Usually it's not very many. And of course, if you're watching this here on Twitch, we're going to go back and play some more games and give out some more prizes. Thank you very much for watching Clyde Plays News and everything else on twitch.tv/ClydePlaysLive and youtube.com/ClydePlays. We'll see you in our next battle, video, or live stream. Take care and be cool. Later.
This has been the news on Clyde Plays Live.